The Denver Broncos have been a mediocre team for quite some time now. For the past few years, they always find themselves being at the bottom of the division with an average record. Now, I'm sure we know the Broncos' problems, one of them being, for example, a poor offensive line. But they have a much bigger problem that they keep failing to fix. I'm sure most of the people watching know what I'm talking about. For the ones who don't, you're going to find out in today's video what the problem is, how it started, and how to fix it. How is everybody doing today? It's Portello back with another video. Today, I'm going to talk about the Denver Broncos and one big problem that they have that they need to fix. Let's not waste any time, and let's get straight into it. So let's first talk about the problem the Broncos have. The problem is clearly the fact that they can't find the right quarterback. I mean, come on. Unless you don't follow football or the Denver Broncos, you should know that's the problem. Ever since the Broncos lost the great Peyton Manning back in 2015 due to retirement, they haven't been able to find someone who can get them as far as Manning did, which was winning a Super Bowl. If you take a look at all the quarterbacks the Broncos had after Manning, you'll notice how all of them aren't great and are average, or at best, decent. For example, in 2016 and most of 2017, Trevor Siemian was the starting quarterback, and Trevor was probably the best out of all the quarterbacks the Broncos had after 2015. Well, at least so far. In 2016, he would throw for over 3,000 yards and 18 touchdowns. The Broncos did finish the season going 9-7, but missed the playoffs. Then in 2017, Siemian played 10 games with the Broncos, until he got benched. So, what happened? Well, he suffered a shoulder injury in Week 6 against the New York Giants. Now, it wasn't a serious injury as he returned to the game in the third quarter, or so we thought. It wasn't serious. After that injury, his career turned upside down, from a not-so-bad quarterback to a man who deserves to sit on the bench. He was playing so poorly that the Broncos had enough and decided to start Brock Osweiler. A fun fact about Osweiler is that in 2015, the final year of Peyton Manning's career, he started in 7 games. Osweiler started in 4 games for the Broncos and threw for over 1,000 yards. The other 2 games of the season were started by Paxton Lynch, but he only started in 2 games, so there's not much to talk about. Moving on to 2018 though, this was the first season they stick to one quarterback and didn't bench, trade, cut, or do anything like that. They started Case Keenum. Now Keenum is a decent quarterback. As the starting QB, he only won 6 games, and he nearly threw 4,000 yards in a season, which isn't bad. But he threw 15 interceptions and 18 touchdowns. I mean, that's not great because as a starting quarterback, you want to try your best to separate touchdowns and interceptions. Keenum was alright, but wasn't the right fit for the Broncos, so they got rid of him. In 2019, they started 3 quarterbacks: Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, and Brandon Allen. Let's start off with Flacco. He started in 8 games and wasn't great. He almost threw 2,000 yards and had 6 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. Once again, the touchdowns and interceptions are too close together. Flacco was also sacked 26 times, which is a good amount in just 8 games. And to make matters even worse, the reason why he only started in 8 games was because of a neck injury that caused him to miss the rest of the season. It was just one of those years where you can't catch a break for Flacco. Now moving on to Drew Lock. Now Lock was a rookie in 2019 and was okay. He started in 5 games, threw for over 1,000 yards, and 7 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. So not bad and seemed like he had good potential. And the last guy was Brandon Allen, who started in 3 games, but we don't really need to talk about him because it was just 3 games. And finally, 2020. And in my opinion, this was the hardest year out of all of them. They had a total of 4 guys who started at quarterback: Drew Lock, Jeff Driscoll, Brett Ripien, and Kendall Hinton. Lock started in 13 games, and the rest of the guys just started in 1 game. So, remember when I said earlier that Lock seems like he has good potential? Yeah, his sophomore year is a completely different story. He nearly threw for 3,000 yards, had 16 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. He also got sacked 19 times. This is bad. Like, really, really bad. The other guys started in 1 game, but every time I see the name Kendall Hinton, all I feel is humiliation for the Broncos. But that team won 5 games. So yeah, pretty bad. And we now move on to this upcoming season. The Broncos announced that Teddy Bridgewater was starting. Now, no disrespect to Bridgewater, but this man was supposed to be a top 5 QB in the league, but injuries held him back. We'll see how he does as a starter and how far he can take the Broncos. Now, before I end the video, I would just like to answer this question. How do the Denver Broncos find the right quarterback? Well, there are some obvious ways of doing it. You either trade, sign, or draft. Now, out of the three, which one would be the best? Now, clearly, it's drafting because they start off young and fresh, but if you don't feel like tanking or trading up, then I think signing probably works best. Just have the money for the right quarterback, and there you go. I remember earlier in the offseason when it was rumored that the Broncos would get Aaron Rodgers, but that never happened. In my opinion, try getting someone who's in their prime and are young enough. Not someone who's 36, not someone who's 21 and just came in the league, but someone around 25 to 29 who is in the center of their prime. I think that would be the best way of fixing this huge problem. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you're new to the channel, please consider to leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. I'm out.